When I was younger, I was fascinated by the Bermuda Triangle. The idea that a random place in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean could harbor some kind of dark secret that no one could explain was incredible to me. From UFO sightings to boat and plane disappearances to ghost ships, the Bermuda Triangle had it all. But what I didn't know at the time is that paranormal triangles aren't limited to some random swath of ocean. We have several right here in the United States. Places where all kinds of freaky and weird abound. And sometimes right in our own backyards. And that's where our video this week takes us. To a random patch of land outside Boston where all manner of unexplained haunt the woods, roads, and swamps. This is the story of the Bridgewater Triangle. I'm Cameron West, and you are watching Here and Haunted. For years, ghost hunters and paranormal experts alike have flocked to the Bridgewater Triangle, so named by renowned cryptozoologist Loren Coleman in the 1970s, who was able to trace paranormal activity in the area back to the first documented sighting of a sphere of fire that appeared in the sky over Bridgewater in 1760. From Bigfoot and UFO sightings to ghosts and strange voices, the area from Abington south to Freetown, west to Seekonk, and north back to Abington, with Bridgewater smack in the middle, features a number of sites said to possess an energy unlike any other area in the state. And while Coleman couldn't provide a reasoning for this event, or any of the other things occurring in the area, he, along with several others, widely believe that a massive colonial battle is at least the catalyst for much of the activity. King Philip's War, as it became known, was an armed conflict that lasted from 1675 to 1678 between Native American inhabitants of New England and New England colonists and their Native American allies. The war is named for Metacomet, the Wampanoag chief who adopted the name Philip because of the friendly relations between his father and the Mayflower Pilgrims. Massasoit had maintained a long-standing alliance with the colonists, but Metacom, his younger son, who later became tribal chief in 1662, did not maintain his father's alliance. When 3 Wampanoags were hanged for murder in Plymouth Colony in 1675, tensions began to mount. The neighboring Narragansetts tribe remained neutral, but several individual Narragansetts participated in raids of colonial strongholds and militia, which caused colonial leaders to deem the Narragansetts to be in violation of peace treaties. Colonists then assembled the largest colonial army that New England had yet mustered, consisting of 1,000 militia and 150 native allies, and Governor Josiah Winslow marshaled them to attack the Narragansetts in November 1675. They attacked and burned native villages throughout Rhode Island Territory, culminating with the attack on the Narragansetts' main fort called the Great Swamp Fight. An estimated 150 Narragansetts were killed, many of them women and children, and the native coalition, which was joined by the Wampanoags, was then taken over by Narragansett Sachem Canonchit. They pushed back the colonial frontier in Massachusetts Bay, Plymouth, and Rhode Island colonies, burning towns as they went. However, the colonial militia overwhelmed the native coalition, and by the end of the war, the Wampanoags and their Narragansett allies were almost completely destroyed. By the end of King Philip's War, nearly 3,000 Wampanoag men, women, and children were killed or sold onto slave ships bound for the West Indies, and Metacom himself fled to Mount Hope, where he was slaughtered by one of his own men and beheaded by English soldiers. Naturally, with so much death in the area, it's not surprising that it has become a hotbed for unexplained phenomena. The creepy Hockomock Swamp, a 5,000-acre swamp smack dab in the western part of the Bridgewater Triangle, is the largest swamp in all of New England, home to a mysterious 8,000-year-old Native American burial ground which, when discovered by archaeologists, saw the disappearance of the discovered bodies upon excavation. It's no mystery, then, why the Wampanoag people called the swamp the place where spirits dwell. There have been several Bigfoot sightings in the swamp, including one incident in the 1970s where a Bigfoot went haywire, killing pigs and sheep belonging to local farmers. Police with attack dogs searched the swamp for 2 days, but found no sign of the creature. There have also been reported sightings, including a 1971 police report by Sergeant Thomas Downey of a thunderbird in the area, best described as a massive pterodactyl-like bird with a large wingspan. The thunderbird is believed to be the ruler of the sky by certain Native American people. Also nearby is the Anawan Rock, where Chief Anawan allegedly surrendered to the colonists, thereby bringing an end to King Philip's War, and, according to local folklore, people have reported seeing ghost dancing by the angry warrior spirit of Chief Anawan himself. Taunton State Hospital is a psychiatric hospital located on Hodges Avenue in Taunton, Massachusetts. Established in 1854, it was originally known as the State Lunatic Hospital at Taunton. It was the second state asylum in Massachusetts, and visitors to the Taunton State Hospital have reported strange happenings, including having their shoulders and legs touched and pulled when entering certain areas. Allegedly, parts of the hospital were also used by satanic cults during the 1960s and 1970s, and the hospital is known for being the place where the infamous Lizzie Borden was held while waiting for her trial. Since the first documented strange occurrence in the Bridgewater Triangle was a UFO sighting, it makes sense that there are still many mysterious objects that show up in the sky even today. There have been photographs, news reports, and more dating back to over 100 years ago, but one sighting in particular stands out. On July 3, 1972, people in the South Shore area of Massachusetts looked up into the night sky and spotted a strange sight. A large triangular object that looked like a baseball diamond. It was reported to be translucent, and the local naval base received numerous calls inquiring about the object. To this day, no one has an answer as to what it was. The object was reportedly visible for over half an hour, and at least 26 people confirmed seeing it. One of the most famous legends of the Bridgewater Triangle is that of a red-headed, bearded phantom hitchhiker. The story goes that a couple was driving down Route 44 in October 1984 when their car broke down. As the man walked up the road on his way to find a payphone, he saw a red-headed stranger. He asked the man for help, but the man was silent. Upon asking a second time, the man noticed that the stranger's face was contorted and ghostly. Out of fright, the man ran back to the car to tell his wife, who he found standing outside the car, terrified. When he asked what was wrong, she said that she'd turned on the radio and heard deranged laughter and a taunting voice that called her by name. Ever since then, the hitchhiker has been seen numerous times by several different people. But this red-headed presence isn't the only phantom on the roads in the Triangle. It is also widely reported that nearby, on Copycut Road, travelers have reported a truck driver following them too closely and honking his horn, making wild motions with his arms. But when people pull over to let the truck pass, it has mysteriously vanished. The Fall River Freetown State Forest, the largest in the state, is a location that has been tied to some grisly murders, body discoveries, and rumors of satanic activity. Beginning in the 1990s, the Freetown police found mutilated cats, cows, and other animals in nearby forests. All seem to have been killed in ritualistic manners, and it has been suggested that it is the work of satanic cultists. But the perpetrators of these mutilations were never caught, and no one knows to this day what group or individual was doing it. And besides animal sacrifices, there have also been other bodies found, human bodies. In 2015, the bodies of 2 women were found in the woods near the border of Brockton, Massachusetts and Abington, Massachusetts. Many of their body parts were severed, including a foot, a calf, and part of an arm. The bodies were placed on top of one another, and there were signs of ritualistic activities. The case was never solved. Some paranormal experts argue that there is a strong, negative energy that encompasses the forest and is the reason for strange happenings there. Others believe that the forest is simply so accessible, just off Route 24 in Asenet, and so vast that people in surrounding towns utilize it to cover up their crimes. The area around the Bridgewater Triangle is also the birthplace of two famous sideshow performers. The first, the human skeleton, was a man named Isaac W. Sprague, who lived in the mid-1800s and was so skinny and odd-looking that he became the original Thin Man of circus fame. He weighed less than 45 pounds at the time of his death. The other was Charles Sherwood Stratton, better known as General Tom Thumb, who stood at only 25 inches tall. He did acts in costume, as well as comedy and other routines, and was considered to be the star of P.T. Barnum's sideshow acts. Triangles are often believed to be shapes of great power. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Spirit, Body, Mind. Past, present, future. And while many religions view the triangle as a holy symbol, it is also a symbol used by cultists to summon demons. And perhaps this latter use is what makes things like the Bridgewater Triangle tick. Could it be that long ago, a dying Wampanoag cursed the land because he was angry that his people were being slaughtered? Or could it simply be that people's belief in the triangle in the first place acts as some kind of magnetic manifestation that draws people to it? Just a coincidence that so many terrible things happen within its dark reach. That was Here in Haunted. As always, I'm Cameron West, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for future content. And if you have an idea for a haunted location we should talk about in the future, please leave your thoughts in the comments below.